Hello and welcome to this All-Star special of LEGO Wars. Tonight we're celebrating the old guard of LEGO Wars with a good old-fashioned knockout bracket made up of robots that made the series possible. These include our two series champions Waddle D2 and Panic Attack, the Robo-Nerd conquerors Petunia, and of course fan favourite Sweepy. Without further ado, let's get straight into the bracket. We open tonight's action with the current series champs Waddle D2 taking on the plucky Waddle M. Then it's the former grand finalists Duck versus Diabolical Toothpick in a rematch of their Series 1 encounter. Fight 3 of the night sees the destructive White Hole take on the luckless Deitor, who's still searching for their first LEGO Wars win, and then we finish this side of the bracket with the reskinned Sweepy taking on the perennial underdogs Detonator. Kicking off the second half of this round is the first series champions Panic Attack fighting the only outsider robot tonight Shatterstar. Then it's the return of the Diddler, hoping to restore its damaged reputation against the 2020 international champions Petunia. The penultimate fight of the first round sees the Rainbow Spinner 2Jeff2 Fabulous face the patched up Plop Plop Dougal, and finally our OG Hammerbot Good Hits 2 will take on the lifting forks of King B Cube. Let's move across to our own all-star commentator Anderson and get on with the first fight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And kicking off the All-Star Tournament, it's two deadly spinners. Waddle D2, of course, reigning LEGO Wars champions, being pushed back there, though, by Waddle M. Now, Waddle M, of course, long-time veterans, no real success, though. Oh, but they've had their front wedge ripped off as well. And that means the internals are exposed. Waddle D2, reigning LEGO Wars champions. They won the last series after beating Atlas. Something came off there. Oh! And one of Waddle's wheels has just been ripped straight off. This is why Waddle D2 is the reigning LEGO Wars champion. That weapon is absolutely devastating! And now the front wedge has been completely ripped away, the chassis smashed to pieces. And Waddle D2 are surely on their way to making it to the next round of this tournament. I can't see how Waddle M is meant to come back from this, to be honest. There's only one wheel left on the robot as they spin aimlessly in circles. Of course, here in the new and improved LEGO Wars Arena, much bigger than it was last time. Down goes the pit. Waddle M nearly caught out by and two. Waddle D2 there. Did you see how close they got to the pit there? That wasn't very good driving. They're meant to be experienced. Our reigning champions, Waddle D2, desperately trying to get Waddle M towards the pit. Waddle M just flopping around aimlessly, hoping that they don't get counted out. I'm not too sure if that counts as moving out of their circumference, I must admit. Does just being pushed away count? I'm not too sure. Look at them spinning around aimlessly. Oh dear, well it's only a matter of time really, isn't it, until they either get counted out or they get pitted. I guess it's just now a question of damage limitation, although some serious damage has already been done to Waddle M. But don't count out Waddle M's spinner. He did manage to do some damage to Waddle D2 early on in this fight, although at the moment he's just hitting the floor, beating it like some sort of weird tribal drum of war. The only war being had here, of course, is between the LEGO machines in Great Yarmouth. Hopefully the weather's a lot nicer than it was when I was there, but there we go. Anyway, enough about the weather report in Great Yarmouth. Waddle D2 can't really take advantage of this situation, and I'm surprised. I'll be honest, I'm surprised Waddle haven't been counted out here. I'm guessing they've been considered as mobile enough to continue, and Waddle D2 aren't really capable of taking advantage of this situation. The pit has been open for a long time. Waddle D2, what it has in destructive power, it lacks in pushing power, it seems to me, until that moment there. Oh, goodness me. Both robots nearly took a tumble into the pit there. So that was good evasive driving there by Waddle M, so they are still in this. They must still be in pretty good control of the robot. They haven't been counted down, and we're into the final 10 seconds. This could very well go to the judges. If it does, it's not going to be the closest of decisions, but fair play to Waddle M. They managed to survive to the end, and Waddle D2 were unable to finish off a limping opponent. Well, that was definitely Waddle D2's fight. Despite being pushed back at the start, they managed to do crucial damage there, taking off the wheel of Waddle M, then ripping apart the chassis, completely splitting it from the rear there. Then they knocked the pit down, but they were unable to take advantage of that. They nearly went down the pit themselves, and Waddle M just clawed their way along to the end. However, this can't be too difficult of a decision for the judges, surely. Surely.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Waddle D2. After that imperious performance from our reigning champs, we move on to our next fight and the rematch between Duck and Diabolical Toothpick.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Fun fact about this match, it's actually a rematch. These two met in the second round of LEGO Wars Series 1. Diabolical Toothpick lost that fight after foolishly throwing themselves down the pit, so they will want revenge here against Duck. Duck, meanwhile, very successful robot. As we know, they've been runner-up in 2 separate tournaments so far. Good driving there as well, managing to get underneath Diabolical Toothpick. Now flicking themselves over though, that's not great control. Diabolical Toothpick want to bring that crusher in, of course, and crush down on the flat, vulnerable top of Duck. Duck sitting there, I guess trying to lure them in. Diabolical Toothpick backing away, now hitting the pit release button, whilst Duck is literally a sitting duck right next to the pit. This has been a foul performance from them so far. They've barely moved in this fight, and they're not moving right now, and they're being edged closer and closer towards the pit. And Diabolical Toothpick, I think, has revenge in its sights. If they can just aim the robot properly, they can. Down go Duck. Well, that was a very, very disappointing performance. But Diabolical Toothpick go through to the next round. Well, that was barely a fight, was it? Diabolical Toothpick got flicked up once by Duck and twice, but then Duck somehow just died under absolutely no pressure whatsoever. They must have locked something loose when doing that, because they didn't really recover from that. And Diabolical Toothpick got revenge and dumped them down the pit. Eventually. There we go.
With luck at last, seemingly on Toothpick's side, we'll proceed on to fight 3 of the night between the winless Deitor and the destructive shell spinner White Hole.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Well, you got to feel bad for Deitor, the definite underdogs in this fight. White Hole, known for its destructive power, it's torn many a robot apart in LEGO Wars history. Deitor not really amounted to much in LEGO Wars. I don't think they want to fight yet, have they, now I think about it? However, they are great fun, long-loved legends of robot combat in general, let alone LEGO Wars, and they definitely deserve a spot in this All-Stars tournament, and they're actually doing quite well at not taking much damage so far from White Hole. White Hole now, though, knocking off one of the eyes, but that Bucket Scooper Deitor doing a good job of offering some protection, although not enough protection by the looks of things, because more pieces of Deitor are littering the arena floor as this fight continues to go on. White Hole, very destructive. Maybe the only real issue it has is lacking any real control, and is being pushed back there by Deitor. The pit has gone down. Can Deitor get that scoop into action? Could we see a major upset here? Deitor trying desperately to get underneath White Hole. Just maybe flick it up and over, shove it around. Is White Hole's spinner still spinning? It seems to have stopped. And this could very well be an upset. Deitor went for a charge there, couldn't quite get the job done though. And now White Hole spinner spinning back up to speed, and it drives straight into the sidewall. I told you, it lacks absolutely no control whatsoever. Deitor being grabbed by the arena floor spikes there, and again nearly had White Hole down the pit. Goodness me, this is a very tenacious performance here by the Irish machine. Okay, it's a bit of a Cyclops now, it's missing one of its eyes. White Hole will have to use good position here with its driving to make sure it doesn't go down the pit. Oh, very, very close, but just getting away. Deitor, what are you doing? Oh, Deitor! They had the control throughout the fight and then they threw it away. Oh, what a shame. White Hole cleaning up the rubbish. And I think they're about to get a little bit of a cheeky last hit in it. Oh, dear. That was not good sportsmanship at all. Oh, dear. That was disgraceful there by White Hole, but Deitor that was disgraceful there by White Hole, but not nearly as disgraceful as Deitor's driving. Deitor did all the work through that. Yes, it may have took a few little hits here and there and a little bit of damage, but I feel they were definitely on top towards the end of that fight, using good control and good aggression to outmaneuver and overpower White Hole, as you can see here in the replays, and then they threw themselves down the pit. Oh dear, doesn't excuse this last minute hit though, does it? Ouch.
With Deitor's winless run continuing, we'll move on to our next bout between battling Deitor and the fan favourite Sweepy.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I do believe this battle is going to be absolutely insane, and I, for one, I'm all for it. After all, that's exactly what LEGO Wars is about, isn't it? Destruction, mayhem and insanity? I think so. Damage already being done there to Detonator. Courtesy of that bar spinner of Sweepy, it is a ferocious weapon. Don't let the uncouth design fool you. Sweepy is a very scary machine as it plods along very, very slowly. Oh, dearie me. It's also a very noisy robot, isn't it? It's almost as noisy as I am. And again, to be fair, nothing is as noisy as I am. Anyway, Detonator trying to use that new improved spatula of theirs, and it's doing, well, nothing really. I'll tell you what isn't doing nothing, and that's the bar spinner of Sweepy taking off more armor there of Detonator. That is quite serious damage. A good third of the robot has just disappeared. How can Detonator come back to this? Well, they're trying to get that spatula underneath the side there of Sweepy where the ground clearance is at its highest. But Sweepy able to wiggle away. Good control there, doing more damage there to Detonator. Goodness me. Look at the pieces littering the floor now. Detonator missing an entire side of the robot there almost, with all those internals exposed. Sweepy plodding along to the centre of the arena. It's not the fastest of machines, don't forget. It is a shuffler after all, which are renowned for being quite slow. Detonator's also not the fastest machine in LEGO Wars. It's quite a ponderous battle, this one. Both robots sort of feeding each other out. Down goes the pit, courtesy Detonator. Yes, the pit actually works this series. I know. Smaller miracles have happened. And now Detonator finally using that lifting spatula to good effect. That's the first meaningful attack they've launched in this fight, but they can't seem to capitalise on it. Look, no, they're having to lower Sweepy now. Sweepy too heavy to be pushed along, it seems. That's a bit of a shame, really, because that spatula does look really impressive. It suddenly went flying across the arena there. I wonder where that came from. And then they came off of Sweepy itself. Sweepy doing more damage to itself here than Detonator is. Oh, that's it's not a first, actually. It is a bit of an uncontrollable machine, or weaponry, anyway. Now, Detonator trying their hardest to sort of get around the side of Sweepy where they will not be hit by that bar spinner. Being hit by it anyway, because, well, of course they would. Detonator now. That's a bit of an opening there, and they're going in for the lift once again here. Can they take advantage of this? Oh, definitely so now. Getting underneath Sweepy and pushing it back. That's a really good attack there by Detonator. But again, look, once they get it in the air, they have no pushing power. It's almost as if the robot overbalances and its wheels come off the ground. Meanwhile, Sweepy's legs bouncing around in the mid-air because they can't gain any traction either. This is a really good battle here. Could very well go to the judges. Neither machine close to giving up the fight just yet. So it could well go to the... It is going to go to judges. We're in the final 8 seconds, so it will go down to the judges' decision, and it will be a close one. Both machines performing very strongly throughout.
6.
Ooh, that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. This could be a difficult one for the judges. What's going on there? I'm not really too sure who won that one. Definitely damage went to the bar spinner of Sweepy, sending bits of Detonator flying all over the place. Detonator not really showing great control throughout until about here, when all of a sudden they started getting that lifting spatula into play, getting a good lift in there on Sweepy, taking a few more hits, but then managing to get another good lift in there. Very, very difficult one for the judges, this one. I'm glad I'm not a judge, let's put it that way.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Sweepy. With this totally impartial announcer very happy, we'll move on to the second half of this round as it's the turn of the Series 1 champions Panic Attack, taking on the only outsider robot tonight, Shatterstar.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Interesting dynamic of robots here. We've got a set of lifting forks versus a big swinging axe. 4-wheel drive versus track drive. Who's got the more grip? By the evidence at the beginning of this fight, it'll be Shatterstar actually. Panic Attack, of course, former reigning champions. They won LEGO Wars Series 1. So for sure, they must be the favourites of this one. Shatterstar haven't really had much success in LEGO Wars, but they are a robot that is consistently improving. But they're being plucked up by Panic Attack, but they managed to get away. And now getting underneath Panic Attack and using the axe to pin them down and slam them into the arena sidewall. That was good tactics there. Shatterstar now pushing Panic Attack towards the upper end of the arena. They really have improved their machine, haven't they, over the years? And it's great to see it finally doing something there. Swinging the axe down and properly bringing it down into Panic Attack now. But Panic Attack using good driving and good ability to get away. There's lots of bits of Lego littering the arena. I think those are the front wedges of Shatterstar, actually. Panic Attack now backing away, hitting the pit buttons. Down goes the pit. Very good fight, this one. It's a good tactical battle. We like those as much as we like destruction on LEGO Wars. Down comes the axe again. They seem to be trying to get to the lifting mechanism of Panic Attack there and hoping to maybe break it. But Panic Attack with a good drive here, getting underneath Shatterstar and using their lifting forks effectively to get underneath and pluck the tracks off the ground. And now Shatterstar has no grip and no way of getting away, and this is exactly what Panic Attack does best. This is classic Panic Attack. Over goes Shatterstar. Oh, but they self-right right back onto the lifting forks of Panic Attack. Brilliant self-righting. Oh, Panic Attack nearly threw itself down the pit, just managed to survive, and Shatterstar are about to go down, and they have Panic Attack nearly going in with them, but I think they've just survived, yes.
6.
Great battle, fantastic work by Shatterstar, but Panic Attack go through to the next round. Shatterstar, to their credit, controlled quite a lot of that fight. They brought the axe in several times, doing bits of damage here and there to Panic Attack. Panic Attack, though, just such a much better driven machine, was able to get underneath Shatterstar not once but twice, exploiting the ground clearance, managed to flip them over. Great self-righting by Shatterstar, but Panic Attack were ready for them and caught them and dumped them down the pit.
After a hard-fought win for our Welsh machine, we now have our inaugural international champions Petunia take on the rebuilt vertical spinner Diddler Mark III.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A definite contrast in designs here. The Crusher of Petunia and the vertical spinner of the Diddler. Should be a good fight though. These two machines, of course, renowned in LEGO Wars history. Petunia, the first ever international championship winner in LEGO Wars Series 1. They managed to grab a hold there of the Diddler right where that disc is. Not really sure if any damage has been done there though. Of course, the Diddler, known by many to be a bit of an underachiever actually in LEGO Wars, and I'm one of them. It certainly is a machine that deserves to do better. That's a good attack there by the Diddler. So, good control by Petunia, backing away, managing to right itself. Good little battle spurring out here. Good tactics there by Petunia, pinning the Diddler against the sidewall, bringing that Crusher in once again. The Diddler having difficulty spinning their spin up to speed, although managing to do so now. They've definitely made some improvements, haven't they, to their design, the Diddler. It's a lot more refined this time around. Definitely have sorted out the rough edges, although some damage has been done. One of the top panels has been pried away, look, which means that that wheel will now be exposed for the Crusher of Petunia, although Petunia's front wedge now looking mangled. Both robots aggressive, both robots have dealt their fair share of damage. If I had to pick a winner out of these two, maybe Petunia on control, but I'm not too sure. It could well go to the judges, neither machine showing any signs of backing down just yet. There's that huge spin of the Diddler. It really does look good, and that there is the most meaningful damage done so far. A piece of Petunia's wedge went flying, so Petunia are going to have to try their hardest now to really get to grips with the Diddler and come back into this one, because for me at the moment, the Diddler could very well be winning on points, especially damage points. Now grabbing hold of them again. Is the Diddler's spinner spinning here? Has it been immobilised? Has Petunia been immobilised? No, they're backed away. The Diddler spinner is spinning. Is the drive okay? Yes, they just crawled forwards. Good push there though by Petunia. And there's the pit of oblivion! Oh, and the Diddler on the verge of going down the pit! Well, what a great bit of driving there by Petunia, and what a comeback! The Diddler on the verge of falling down, and
6.
They are in the pit. That is a huge shame for them. What a comeback there for Petunia, even if it does look a little bit mangled in the end. What a battle that was. A great fight of tactics, destruction, and good driving. Exactly what we like to see on LEGO Wars. The Diddler definitely did the most damage throughout, I feel, tearing apart bits and pieces off of Petunia, but Petunia used great control and aggression throughout, causing damage left, right and centre. Something rolled out the bottom of the Diddler there, for example, but the front wedge was torn apart. I thought Petunia were done for, but then they came up with this amazing push and got the Diddler in the pit.
Next up is our penultimate fight of the first round, with the Rainbow Spinner 2Jeff2 Fabulous fighting the perennial underdogs Block Dougal.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
whoever orchestrated this battle is having a giraffe. They are having a laugh. 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous, one of the most destructive robots in LEGO Wars history, versus Block Dougal, a robot renowned for falling apart when you breathe on it. So, of course, this can only go one way, surely. Surely. Then again, stranger things have happened, don't forget. The Lego came third. Anyway, enough about berating previous Roboteers and robots on this show. Block Dougal trying to bring those stabbing spike things into the tyres of 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous. I'm not too sure if any damage at all has been done there. Meanwhile, Block Dougal is already shedding bits all over the arena floor. 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous has not had a chance to probably spin up though. Now, that is a bit of a surprise really, because it's a bigger arena, so there should be more room for spin up times for spinners. Now they're getting a bit of a chance to spin up though. Oh, and another huge hit there, and I'm pretty certain that twisted the chassis there of Block Dougal. Block going for the pit bone and missing, and having its rear end caved in. Ooh, that's not a nice thought, is it? Oh, dear. And having its sides ripped apart. I'm sure this is animal abuse. Don't mention it. We'll have all the videos removed from YouTube. Anyway, 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous. Not managing to finish off Block Dougal just yet. Block Dougal, I say it time and time again, it may get mullered in every single fight it's in, but it never dies. It never gives up. It always keeps going. And to be honest, this seems to be one of those situations. Or does it? Yes, they are just crawling along now. More serious damage being done there by 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous. And it is only a matter of time. What will come first? The judge's decision or the inevitable end of Block Dougal? Either way, it's a grisly, horrible way to go, isn't it? Is 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous' spinner okay? It seemed to struggle to start spinning up there. Nope, they are spinning it back up to speed now. Block Dougal cannot get past its own rubble by the looks of things. Oh, it's such a tired sight, isn't it? Oh, another huge hit in the back there. Managed to withstand that attack, actually. Or did it? Look at the back of the robot now. It's completely stoved in, almost. Block Dougal trying everything in their power just to last to the end of the fight. Can they manage that much at least? Oh, my lord. Not on the evidence of that. Although it is still going. It's plodding along. It's limping. It's barely mobile on one side. Its own rubble stopping it from getting full traction on the arena floor. But they're still trying valiantly and desperately to come in on the attack. And you got to give them credit and respect for that. But for me, 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous, they're of course the winners of this one. They have to be. We're in the final 5 seconds. The judges are going to take about 5 seconds to decide who's won this one, I think.
6.
But what a great fight as usual, and fair play to Block Dougal once again refusing to die. But let's be honest, it's a pretty easy one I think for the judges. 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous had absolutely no problems tearing bits and pieces off of Block Dougal, left, right and centre. Side panels gone, back panels gone, weapon gone, just about everything gone as usual. But Block at least went the distance, so we can give them that much. They kept getting stuck on their own rubble, so they weren't able to really do much. That was probably the biggest hit of the fight. Goodness me, look at the damage done by 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous.
And the winner by unanimous decision is 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous. While we sweep up the dog debris, let's move on to our final fight of the round with King B Cubed fighting the Hammerbot Good Hits 2.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Bit of a classic Robot Wars clash this one. King B Cubed versus Good Hits 2. Good Hits 2 swinging that big axe down, missing twice now. That's terrible control on their part. That's 3 misses in fact. Finally got him on the 4th though, hitting them on the wheel. King B Cubed is the perfect target for an axe like that. Actually a flat, low robot. Good target for a good axe like that. There's those lifting forks being used as some sort of shield to try and block the forces of that axe. Now getting underneath. Good Hits 2. Good tactics there. Using the forks. Getting underneath. Prying them up into the air. But they weren't able to capitalise on it. Had to let them go. Back up. Maybe try a different kind of tactic. Good Hits 2. Trying to get around the side of King B Cubed. And does so. Getting a few love taps in. That's all they were. Nothing more. Nothing less. There's that rear spinning disc on King B Cubed. Which I'm pretty certain is absolutely nothing. Another couple of love taps there. By Good Hits 2. That axe doesn't seem as quick and as powerful as it has in previous fights. I'm not too sure whether they're having a bit of a power problem? I'm not too sure. It just seems to be a bit of an effort, doesn't it? It's slowly swinging over backwards and forward, but not causing any major damage at this point. This is a bit of a ponderous battle. Neither robot really able to do anything to the other, so they're just sort of feeling each other out. King B Cube's driving hasn't been the best in this fight. They seem to have had their forks facing away from their opponent more often than not. Those are a better attack there by Good Hits 2. The pit button pressed, but by the sound of things, it didn't seem to want to work on that occasion. And that's not... Oh, it was all going so well for the pit, wasn't it? We managed to... several fights where it worked. We thought we'd beat all the glitches, but obviously not. And now King B Cubed have got themselves stuck on a piece of Good Hits 2. I'm not sure how they managed to do that. The pit has not gone down, even despite the robots driving over it. So I'm not too sure what's going on now then, to be honest. Good driving there again, though, by King B Cubed, going to get underneath. Those are certainly the more meaningful attacks of this fight. It's all well and good Hits 2 getting a few love taps in, but they haven't really done anything. Meanwhile, King B Cube's attacks have at least managed to take control of the fight. Not too sure what way this is going to go at the moment. If it goes to the judges, it probably will, though, at this rate. Neither machine really seeming to be able to put the other one out just yet. The pit's still not lowering despite the button being pressed. I think it's finished, isn't it, really? Good driving there by King B Cubed, and they've managed to do some damage to Good Hits 2 in this fight as well. You can see bits of Good Hits 2 littering the arena now. So I would argue they're winning on damage and aggression, and to be honest, probably control as well, actually. Good Hits 2 just not managing to get that hammer into an effective position throughout this entire fight. We're in the final 5 seconds, and this is going to go to the judges. I think I know who's won, but I'm not a judge. And that was a bit of a disappointing performance from both robots, it must be said. Good Hits 2 did start off the more aggressive, I guess, with the axe hits left, right and centre, but they weren't really meaningful attacks. That was probably the best work they did to King B Cubed, but King B Cubed spent the rest of the fight getting underneath them, pushing them around the arena, prying bits of Lego off, and managing to cause some serious damage throughout the fight as well. And I think that might just sway it to them on a judge's decision, but I'm not too sure, honestly, it must be said. Good fight, though.
And the winner by unanimous decision is King B Cubed. With King B Cubed taking the last spot, let's see how they'll line up in the quarterfinals. First up will be the defending champs, Waddle D2, facing the fortunate Diabolical Toothpick, followed by a fight between two fan favourites, Whitehole and Sweepy. Fight 3 sees Series 1 champion face first international champs with Pag Attack against Petunia. Finally, it's 2 Jeff 2 Fabulous versus King B Cubed. Let's crack on with the next fight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So we are officially kicking off the quarterfinals of this, the first ever LEGO Wars All-Star Tournament. Waddle D2 and Diabolical Toothpick. Waddle D2 was very impressive in the first round, managing to get this far after doing critical damage to their opponent, Weldor M, throughout. Diabolical Toothpick, must admit, got through quite luckily actually, Duck failing to really work properly and dying right next to the pit, although it's taking a little bit more than luck to do what they're doing right now, using good driving skill and precision to pin Waddle D2 against the sidewall, and now managing to get the claw onto that spinner and stop it from spinning. That's fantastic control and driving there by Diabolical Toothpick. Ironic considering they were renowned for throwing themselves down the pit in Series 1. Waddle D2 now finally getting its spinner up to speed, but not really causing much damage on that impact. Probably going to go for the wheels again. It seems to be their favourite tactic of Waddle D2, just to get that spin up to speed and take off the tyres like they tried to do there, but it didn't quite work. Is that spinner spinning as fast as it normally does to you? I'm not too sure. Has some damage been done to it by Diabolical Toothpick? The pit button pressed! Oh my goodness me, and Waddle D2 were driving over the pit as it went down! And what an upset! Diabolical Toothpick pitting Waddle D2. That's fantastic! That was a very dominant performance by Diabolical Toothpick, first pinning Waddle D2 against the arena sidewall. Waddle D2's spinner didn't really seem to recover from that, nor did it recover from this, and they just seemed to struggle throughout the rest of the fight. Diabolical Toothpick using good control and aggression throughout, maybe not causing the most damage, but certainly having the better tactics, hitting the pit button there just as Waddle D2 drove over it and they went down. What an upset.
What a massive upset win for Toothpick, taking out the reigning champions. The dust has barely settled though as we move on to our next fight between Whitehole and Sweepy.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Oh, a true battle of the spinners, this one. Whitehole versus Sweepy, both very destructive robots with very destructive spinners. One could argue Whitehole were a little bit lucky to beat Deitor earlier in this tournament, relying on Deitor throwing themselves down the pit. Sweepy, meanwhile, did serious damage to Detonator and won on the judge's decision after tearing apart a good half of the robot, it must be said. Whitehole's spinner seems to have completely stopped working here, but I guess they were just waiting for Sweepy to back down so they could bring it back up to speed. Neither robot really doing much damage to each other just yet, although it is very difficult for spinners to damage one another because, well, 9 times out of 10 it's the 2 spinners that make contact. So whose spinner will survive the impact? Definitely seems to be Whitehole's on that occasion. Sweepy still spinning back at the speed. There we go. It's back up and running now. Stomping along. Damage done there to the Sweepy. You can tell a piece of blue material went flying across the arena there. And I think that's from the bar spinner of Sweepy. Sweepy trudging along, trying to take evasive action. Oh, goodness me. More damage being done there. I think that's more damage done to Sweepy. It didn't look like a part of Whitehole. I think that's so. I think it came off the speed. I'm not too sure, if I'm honest. Whitehole spinning back up to speed now. Sweepy backing away. A little bit more cautious perhaps. Whitehole happy to get really in there into the action, and that was good driving. Get around the side of Sweepy and get a good shot in at where those legs are. Take out the legs, and then that means that Sweepy will not be able to stomp around the arena anymore, and Whitehole would be the winner. Whitehole would probably be the favourite to win out of these two. It's had more success in main competitions, although Sweepy is the unofficial mascot of LEGO Wars, I guess you could say, so really could be either machine. Both are true all-stars and both are deserving of getting a place in the next round. I'd say Whitehole's been the more aggressive and the more controlled, ironically, so far, and it's definitely done the more damage, I think. Sweepy, as this fight goes on, is unable to position itself to get that spinner into a good position to hit Whitehole, and Whitehole definitely getting more body shots on them now. And the judges will definitely be taking note of that. It requires a good bit of control for that to happen. So we're flying off a Whitehole there, though. I'm not too sure how crucial of that bit of damage was. I think it was only superficial. Oh! For God's sakes, lads, I big you up the entire fight saying you finally got control of your own when you're driving to the arena sidewalk. What are you doing? You're making me look like a Muppet. Then again, it's easy to make me look like a Muppet in all fairness. Whitehole, again, using evasive driving to get away from that bar spinner. And again... And all these body shots, whilst not causing the most damage, are definitely scoring aggression and control points. That certainly wasn't. What are they doing? Oh dear, well we're in the final 4 seconds. This is going to go to the judges. One last huge clash there between the two. And that's going to be a tight one for the judges. Very difficult battle to predict this one. Both huge spinners came into contact many a time. I'd say Sweepy started off as the aggressor, but as the fight went on, more and more damage was dealt to Sweepy by Whitehole. Whitehole was able to outmaneuver them and get plenty of body shots on to the side of Sweepy, and that I think will be crucial in this judge's decision. That bit of damage there certainly will be as well. Whew, great fight.
And the winner by split decision is Whitehole. With Whitehole winning on aggression, they move on to their first semi-finals against the giant-killing Diabolical Toothpick. Our next fight is up, and it's a rematch of the Series 1 semi-final between Panic Attack and Petunia.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A little bit of an old versus new clash, this one. Panic Attack, of course, legends of classic robot combat. Meanwhile, Petunia are a modern robot combat competitor, so it'd be good to see the differences in generation here come out to play. It's also the second rematch of this All-Stars tournament. These two fought in the semi-finals of LEGO Wars Series 1. Panic Attack was the winner of that. Oh, one of the eyes has come off! They're only decorative, they're only superficial, so I don't think any serious damage has been done there, although I think one of the front wedges has been removed. Yes, it has, there you can see it laying there on the floor by the pit. So Petunia definitely winning on damage points at the moment. And the other wedge that's come off there as well, Petunia, also using good aggression in this fight so far, and control. Pinning Panic Attack now against the side wall, but Panic Attack using good driving to wriggle away there, trying to get those lifting forks underneath and nearly toppling Petunia. Like I said, Panic Attack came out on top out of these two back in LEGO Wars Series 1, went on to win the championship, of course. Petunia will want revenge, and they're looking to get it at the moment. This has been a really good, hard-fought battle, hasn't it? Both machines giving it their all. Neither robot really willing to give up without a fight, and this could very well go to the judges, and it wouldn't surprise me if it did. They're both tough machines. I don't think we're going to have really any chance at a KO here unless the pit gets lowered. Neither robot has gone for the pit button yet, although they seem to be trying to go for it now, almost as if they heard me saying it. So, who knows? The pit didn't go down on that attempt, though. I don't think they hit the button hard enough, I must be honest. Down comes the claw once again of Petunia. No real damage done. Now Panic Attack using good driving to get around the back of Petunia there and slam them into the arena side wall. They've managed to raise Petunia's wheels off the ground. Petunia cannot get to grips with the floor. And no grip means no pushing power. The claw also sort of getting caught on the arena side wall there almost. Good driving here by Panic Attack. They've managed to really get those forks proper underneath Petunia now. And look at this. This is classic Panic Attack here. Plucking up Petunia, hitting the pit button and dumping them down the pit. That was a very convincing win in the final moments of an epic battle. Well done, Panic Attack. Well, revenge was not on the menu for Petunia this time. Despite doing damage early on, Panic Attack was able to outmaneuver them towards the end. Petunia really did start the strongest though, didn't it? Getting good aggression points early on, damage points as well, controlling the fight, but then it was here. Panic Attack managed to get around the back of Petunia, pin them against the side wall, pluck them off the ground, lower the pit, and eventually dump them in. What a fight that was though. Terrific stuff from both teams.
After another commanding performance from the First Wars champs, we'll see who will face them in our last fight in the quarterfinals between 2Jeff2 Fabulous and King B Cubed.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So who will win our final quarterfinal battle and get the fourth and final place in the All-Star semis? The favourite at the beginning of this fight would have to be 2Jeff2 Fabulous with that destructive weapon, although King B Cubed using good tactics there with lifting forks, managing to lift them up by the bar spinner. It stopped the spinner from spinning up. The pit has been released. So either of these machines could end up down there. That was a nice little hit on the back there of King B Cubed by 2Jeff2 Fabulous. They will try and take the wheels off. One of those wheels at the back already looks a little bit buckled there. Did you see that? King B Cubed using good aggression though. Getting underneath 2Jeff2 Fabulous. Oh, and some damage. Look, there has been done to 2Jeff2 Fabulous. Well, I wasn't expecting that at the beginning of this fight for certain. 2Jeff2 Fabulous have somehow become the most damaged robot in there. I don't know how that happened, but anyway. So they're going to have to really come back now and try and claw back some points. They're trying to. As you can see, they keep going for the wheels, but it doesn't seem to be working as well as they hoped it would. Good hit there once again by 2Jeff2 Fabulous, but right on the edge of the pit. And lucky to get away, goodness me. King B Cubed nearly had them there. Now hitting the lifting forks, trying to get them damaged. No damage was done there though on that attack, nor on that one. 2Jeff2 Fabulous slowly but surely being the more aggressive robot in this fight though. King B Cubed a little bit slower than usual. 2Jeff2 Fabulous throwing himself down the pit again. Another shot of the lifting forks there by 2Jeff2 Fabulous, who is slowly but surely pulling this one back at the moment. King B Cubed not being aggressive or controlled enough for my liking. They nearly backed into the pit there as well. But the damage does not lie. King B Cubed has taken more damage, although the lifting forks are now looking a little bit bent and buckled there on King B Cubed. That's weapon damage. It's serious damage as far as the judging criteria is concerned. All sorts of ones. They seem to snap back into action there though. Yes, they seem to have straightened themselves out now. 2Jeff2 Fabulous will have to work hard. Trying to get around the back of King B Cubed, trying to avoid those lifting forks. I say those lifting forks look okay. They still seem to be a little bit bent to me. You just saw them there raising, so they seem to be okay. 2Jeff2 Fabulous with another hit on the wheels there. That spinner's not spinning as well as it normally does. I'm not too sure who's winning out of these two at the moment. Seems to be a little bit level on all criteria. Maybe damage swaying towards King B Cubed. Good control there by 2Jeff2 Fabulous to get out of harm's way. King B Cubed trying to come in on a side attack now. Will this one go to the judges? If it does, I'll be surprised. I'll be honest, I would be surprised. I thought King B Cube was going to have his wheels plucked off by 2Jeff2 Fabulous, but they've managed to hold down in there. They've caused the more damage of the two machines, and this is going to go to the judges. We're in the final 7 seconds, and I'm not too sure what the judges are going to vote for here. And is Jeff's weapon working towards the end there? It seemed to have stopped working by the end. I'm not too sure which way that one's going to go. King B Cube certainly getting the better starting attacks in. Not only managing to lift 2Jeff2 Fabulous up into the air, but they were also able to do serious damage, ripping off a side panel and their top plate. 2Jeff2 Fabulous seem to have spinner troubles throughout this fight as well, but they did come back slowly and securely with more aggression and getting more and more snipe shots, though towards the end of the fight it almost seemed like their spinner had stopped working. This is a difficult one for the judges.
And the winner by split decision is 2Jeff2 Fabulous. With the damage on the drive being pivotal, it's 2Jeff2 Fabulous who will take the fight to Panic Attack in the semi-finals. Before that fight though, we have two machines making their debut appearance in the semi-finals with White Hole and Diabolical Toothpick. Let's see whose run will end here.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So it's time for the All-Star semi-finals. Diabolical Toothpick have done very well to get this far. Underachievers in the main competition of LEGO Wars, so it's great to see them finally doing as well as they have done. White Hole, of course, with that destructive full-bodied spinner. Definitely a favourite to win this All-Stars tournament. Although they are sitting a little bit idle. Now they're okay. I think they were just luring Diabolical Toothpick into the spinner there. Diabolical Toothpick going for the pit button, or not. No, backing away now. Not too sure why they did that. They could have gone for the pit, and they could have potentially had White Hole in it, because White Hole were near the pit. That's what they were trying to do. Wait for White Hole to get a little bit closer to the pit, and then try and release it. And that's exactly what they've done. And they've dumped them down. And Diabolical Toothpick are in the final. Well, that was just purely cheeky tactics, I think, on the part of Diabolical Toothpick. They came in, they tested the waters a little bit with White Hole's spinner, noticed it wasn't going to do too much damage to them, but they tried to push it, so they eventually just hit the pit button and shoved it straight in. Well, it was effective.
That swift pitting takes Diabolical Toothpick into its first final appearance. Let's see who will join them between 2Jeff2 Fabulous and Panic Attack.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So who will join Diabolical Toothpick in the All-Stars final? Panic Attack or 2Jeff2 Fabulous? Both these robots deserve to be here. Both these robots deserve a place in the final. They are icons of LEGO Wars. Oh, I say that and then 2Jeff2 Fabulous go and drive straight into the sidewall. Fantastic work. Absolutely brilliant. 2Jeff2 Fabulous have got the more damaging weaponry. But Panic Attack have got a very sturdy robot, very solidly built. They've got good control weaponry as well. The pit button has been pressed, so Panic Attack seem to be confident that they can get 2Jeff2 Fabulous down the pit. 2Jeff2 Fabulous' spinner has not spun in a long time. Is it working? It stopped working at the end of the last fight, and I think they're still having problems with it, and if they have got problems with that spinner, then they may as well forget about it. They haven't got the pushing power or the control to match Panic Attacks, and this could very well be Panic Attack's fight here. Something came off with the top of that spinner there and rolled down the pit. Now, was that an important piece? I think it was. Look! The spinner, I think, is starting to come a little bit loose there. Something else has come off of 2Jeff2 Fabulous. It's one of the side panels. How often do you see 2Jeff2 Fabulous take this much damage against a non-spinner? Look there, the weapons come off. Oh, well, it's all gone horribly wrong for 2Jeff2 Fabulous. Look at that. The spinner's completely fallen out the front of the robot. And now, without a weapon, Panic Attack cleaning up the mess and nearly throwing itself in the pit. What were they doing there? And again, 2Jeff2 Fabulous sticking around that pit. I guess that's their tactic now. They've got no weapon. Try and lure Panic Attack into it. But Panic Attack is a very, very well-driven robot, and I don't think it's going to succumb to tactics like that, I'm afraid. 2Jeff2 Fabulous, meanwhile, have absolutely no hope here. They've got no pushing power, no weapon. And it's only a matter of time, I think, until Panic Attack get them down into the pit. They're lifting them up. Great precision driving there by Panic Attack, avoiding the pit, plucking up 2Jeff 2 Fabulous, and driving it towards the pit. It's on the edge of the pit, but managing to get away. A little bit of a lucky fortune now. And I say that, and then it goes and gets stuck on its own piece of rubble. Meaning it can't get away. Panic Attack not very, very kindly letting them go there. I wouldn't think I would have done that personally, but then again, I'm a big meanie, aren't I? Finally, Jeff away from the pit. But it's far too late for them to come back now, I think. You can't, you're not a changeling, guys. You can't just become a thwackbot halfway through the fight. Well, fair play to them. They managed to survive to the final 5 seconds. And it is going to go to the judges. Or is it? They're right on the verge of the pit. Oh, they've fallen in. But I think cease was called just before. Just. Well, that battle had a little bit of everything, really. Damage, control. Not too sure about the style from either robot, to be honest. Panic Attack, the aggressor early on. And some damage was done to Jeff's spinner there. Look, and as you can see, it started falling out the robot. And without a weapon, 2Jeff 2 Fabulous had no real hope. Panic Attack used great control, great driving, and great aggression throughout for the rest of the fight, and Jeff threw itself in the pit just after cease was called.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Panic Attack. That decisive damage on the weapon for Jeff means Panic Attack moves on to its first final since taking the Series 1 crown. We've had a crazy night of action with upsets and carnage galore, but now just 2 robots remain in the running. Will it be the Series 1 champions Panic Attack adding another trophy to its collection? Or will it be the underdogs Diabolical Toothpick completing the Cinderella run to the title? Let's find out now.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we are, the All-Stars final. These are the 2 most fearsome robots of this tournament, Diabolical Toothpick and Panic Attack. Panic Attack will start as the favourites, they're former champions, icons of LEGO Wars. Diabolical Toothpick, they've really underachieved, to be honest, in LEGO Wars. This has been their crowning achievement so far, and if they could get the trophy here, it would be an absolutely awesome moment, and one that will surely go down in history as one of the best LEGO Wars moments. But Panic Attack using superior control and aggression to start this fight off, getting those lifting forks underneath Diabolical Toothpick, unable to ply them away though. Diabolical Toothpick coming back to fight the other day, knocking off one of those wedges again. Those wedges, you know, on the front of Panic Attack are useless, aren't they? They keep falling off. Down goes the pit, though. Good tactics there by Panic Attack. Can Diabolical Toothpick take advantage, though? Getting underneath Panic Attack. Not bringing the claw into play, though. Now, why didn't they bring the claw down there? Is it working? Doesn't seem to be, does it? Oh, wait, no. It's lowering down now. They're going to try and bring it down into the lifting mechanism of Panic Attack. It's not working, though. Panic Attack using good driving there to wriggle free. And now trying to get around the back of Diabolical Toothpick. But Diabolical Toothpick using good driving, keeping their weapon facing Panic Attack. This is a really good final so far. Very, very close. I'm not too sure if I could call a winner between these guys just yet. Panic Attack nearly reversed into the pit there. But now doing what it did to Petunia earlier on in this tournament. Getting in around the back of Diabolical Toothpick, plucking it up into the air and dragging it towards the pit of oblivion. Oh, what a shame for Diabolical Toothpick. It was a valiant effort, but alas, Panic Attack are the All-Stars champions. Well, that was a fantastic final. 2 very good robots trying everything they had in their arsenal to beat each other. Panic Attack definitely started the stronger with that opening lift on Diabolical Toothpick, but Diabolical Toothpick used aggression and control itself, tried causing damage at the claw, but eventually a Panic Attack doing the inevitable, doing its party trick once again, plucking Diabolical Toothpick up and dumping them down into the pit. Panic Attack are the All-Star champions.
Congratulations to Panic Attack, our inaugural All-Stars champions. That's all we have for tonight's special, but don't fret as the third LEGO Wars International Championships will be on your screen soon. For now though, I've been your host David or Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
There's a giant bumblebee out there. Gosh, that is a big
bumblebee. Big bee in the ventilation. And a buckling bird. Blup. My